So I think we had discussed a short overview of our Chapter 11 topic last meeting. Short overview kasi short lang din naman yung topic. So, I guess it was well established, although gipaspasan lang nato siya. But as we go along in answering the problems, specifically the assignment that I have given you, we are going to learn and we're going to apply the concepts that I discussed last meeting. So let's begin with answering the first problem. We only have 3 problems for this chapter, or 3 assignments included, 3 problems included in your assignment. So let's begin with Forlo. Forlo? How do you pronounce or how do you read this? Sige. Allow me to share my screen para makita ninyo ang problem. And side by side we stand. Again, please do have your calculators with you, beside you, or imong magigunitan karon. You have your notes with you. You have even the assignment na inyong giansiran. Kung pwede, kung mahimo, naagyon na sa inyong kilid karon kay para ato pod na ma-assess ang inyong understanding, since we began with the self-study and then assignment and then later na ang discussion. Okay? And also, kung naamoy mga classmates nga mag-message nga di daw sila ma-admit, just okay lang, I'm ready for any interruption during the discussion. So, sayang din naman, di sila makapaminaw just because wala sila na-admit, because wala na ko sila na-admit. Okay? So, naka-share na ba? Can you see the Excel file now?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay. So, unsa ganito ang... Okay, the problem here, or the requirement here, is to compute for the cost of the ending inventory and cost of sales using the following method. So we have FIFO and FIFO and weighted average methods here. So, balikan nato, pag FIFO gani, first in, first out, ang unang nga napalit, maopoy unang nga ibaligya. So, ang nabilin basically sa bodega or sa inventory at the end of the year, ang kadtong mga latest nga napalit. So, whether periodic or perpetual, we are going to arrive at the same cost of sales and cost of inventory end. So, depende na sa ato kung asa ta mas hiyang sa paggagamit og periodic or paggamit og perpetual. But for me, personally, I am more inclined with using the periodic. I see it easier than the perpetual one. And then we also have this weighted average. So from the term itself, average, kwaon nato ang average by dividing the total cost of all the purchases, including the beginning balance, and then divide it with all the units available nimo during the year, including again the beginning balance. And any price nga makuha nato as an average, mao na atong i-multiply didto as a number of units nga nabaligya and number of units nga nabilin. So that process is the periodic weighted average periodic. So we also have this weighted average perpetual, or basically known as the moving average, from the term itself moving, kasi from time to time gumagamit nga diba tayo ng stock cards, basta perpetual. So from time to time naga-move siya every transaction, whether there is a sale, a sales return, a purchase, or a purchase return. So, gina-update nato siya from time to time ang iyahang unit cost. And what do I mean by those concepts that we are going to apply in this particular problem? 11-2 pa pala tayo, no? Sorry, specific identification pala yung third. So, here, ang gipagamit lang din sa tuwa is periodic. And then the last one is the specific identification. So, very understandable. Specific ang unit cost or ang cost sa kada unit. So, kung ang ballpen nga GTEC, tag 65 gyud na siya. Ang ballpen nga Panda, kung tag 5 gyud na siya. Ang HBW, tag G's gyud na siya. Dili pwede nato nga i-add to tanan, 65 plus 10 plus 7, tapos i-divide og 3. Hindi po yun siya ganon. Or else, mubarato yun si GTEC, di ba? So, specifically, ang kada item, nagyud na siya iyahang sariling cost. So, kung nabaligya ang item 1, ang nabaligya kay si HBW, idi tag G's to siya. Dili pwede nga siguro kani mga 50 pesos kay ako magi-add ang tulo, hindi po pwede yon. That is under the specific identification method. We also have the last one, last in, first out. Opposite siya sa first in, first out, but it is no longer implemented here in the Philippines. So, maybe some of the problems na ato ma-encounter, hindi niya masyadong hinihingi or ni-require ang cost of inventory under the LIFO or last in, first out method. So, let's begin. Here, first, we're going to compute for the inventory cost at year end and also the cost of goods sold. So, first thing, atong i-analyze. Of course, it all began with the analyzation. We have 10,000 units at the beginning of the year. So let's say that's January 1. And kada unit, that's 80 pesos. Then, we have these following purchases during the year. So iba yung approach ng problem na to. Binigay niya lahat ng purchases and the beginning, and then binigay niya na lang agad ang ending. So, hindi mo makikita explicitly in the problem pila ang iyahang nabaligya. But using your analysis, our analysis, pwede nato makuha kung pila ang iyahang nabaligya during the year. So, first, we're going to use the Fifo method. So, please bear with me kasi hindi ako gumawa ng format for the computation. That's why I want your calculators to be with you para tabangan nato og compute. So, ang una nato ang isolve is ang inventory end. Okay? Ang nabilin, ang cost sa nabilin nga inventory at the end of the year. And hindi mo naman na kailangang mag-isip masyado kasi binigay niya naman. The physical inventory revealed that's 15,000 on hand at year end. So, simple lang, 15,000 daw nabilin. So, under FIFO, asa man nato i-base ang kanang 15,000. So, syempre, first in, first out. Ang nabilin, 15,000 ka mga units. So, ang cost anak nga units, syempre, katong latest nga akong napalit. Katong iwit nga nisulod sa ako ang bodega. And ano po yun? Eto. Muna siya ang pinaka-last nga nisulod sa imuhang bodega. Next. Actually, hindi nga pala to bodega kasi lot number, di ba? Yan. Next. Yan. So, from latest to the oldest. So, from the recent, the most recent, the newest, going to the oldest. Pero, ang nabilin lang man is just 15,000. So, tanawon lang nato kung asa lang kutob or asa lang ang kayang i-absorb sa 15,000 nga units. So, first, dera. But if you could see, there is just 14,500 nga units. Okay lang. 14,500 nga units times pila daw ang unit cost, that's 90 pesos each. Therefore, you have a total cost of that 14,500 of how much? That is 1,305 million. Yun yung 14,500. Pero sabi niya, 15,000 ang naiwan, so kulang pa tag 500, right? So, asa naman po nato kuhaon ng 500? Basically, since na-exhaust naman ni, ato naman yung na-appeal, dili nato kuhaon si 500. So, we have 9,500, pero 500 lang atong kailangan just to satisfy the 15,000 end. So, 500 lang times the 100 pesos cost, and that would be how much? 50,000, right? Therefore, your total inventory on hand using the FIFO periodic is, that's 1,305 plus 50,000. Maybe 1,355 million. So, that is your inventory end. Okay? So, nakuha ra ba nato ang analysis using the first in, first out? Kay ang gipangutana ang katumang nabilin, so we will start sa pinakabag-o or recent na mga items. So, nag-start na din 14.5 lang man. So, kailangan nato magdugang na po 500 to the next recent. Now, let us compute for the cost of goods sold. So, para dili ta maglisod, ato na lang i-compute din hiha. Total cost. Kasi naka per unit. Bantay ha, ingon siya unit cost. So, pasabot kada isa. Dirita sa total cost para makuha nato ang tibuok. And that would be 2,000 times 100. So, that's 200,000. And then, just do the same for the rest of the items. So, ayun. The total is you have a total of 4,055,000. So, nakapeso yan. But, take note, you have a beginning inventory, right? So, ato pa na siyang i-appeal. Kay appeal man no, sa imuhang available nga ibaligya. So, you have a beginning inventory of how much? How much was it? 10,000 and then 80. So, you have a beginning inventory of, that's 80,000? 800. Okay, 800,000. Sige, let's not be confused. Butangan na lang na kong peso sign kaya para dito maglibog. That's 800,000. So, therefore, that's 4,055,000 plus your 800,000 na beginning. Therefore, your available na units total available for sale is 12,055,000. That is the beginning of 800 plus tanan nga imong na purchase during the year, total 12,055,000. Ay, ba't parang ang laki ng 12 million? 8 million din eh. 4,855. Sorry, 8 million akong na-add 800,000 ng DI. So that's 4,855,000. Mao na tanan ang available. Remember, ang imong nabaligya 1,355 based sa atong gi-compute. Ang nabilin based sa atong na-compute ganina. Mao ni tanan ang available for sale. That's beginning plus tanang na purchase 4,855. Mauni ang nabilin 1,355. So if you would be asked pila ang nabaligya, mauni ang available, mauna lang ni ang nabilin. Simply put, you just have to deduct. So that is 4,855 minus ang nabilin 1,355. And how much is that? That's 3.5 million cost of sale or cost of goods sold. So, gamitin na lang natin yung nasa requirement. Cost of goods sold. So, I am using let's just say, the practical way of computing it. But we could also compute it na mano-mano. Saon man? Diba, ang nabilin on hand is 15,000. So, kani, nabilin ni. So, wala na ilabot sa nabaligya. Ang ato ang focus karon atong i-compute pila ang nabaligya. So, kani, wala na nilabot. Siyempre, nabilin gay daw siya. So, wala siya nabaligya. Item number 4 or lot, sige, ato ni siyang nag-red. And then, kaning lot number 4, partly ani nabaligya, partly pod wala. Pila gani ang wala nabaligya? 500. So, based sa katong atong analysis kaganina. So, let's divide it. Tangan natong 9,000 dire sa mga nabaligya and 500 dire sa nabaligya. Again, the unit cost is 100. So, this is for lot number 4 gihapon. Para ato lang mas segregate asa ang nabaligya o wala. So, these items nga akong gi-red, nabaligya na ni. And nabilin. And the rest ang nabaligya. So, take note ha, atong gi-split si lot number 4, 9,000 nabaligya, 500 nabilin based sa atong analysis kaganina. Therefore, kaning tanan, cost niya tanan, plus ang beginning inventory, kasi assuming na nabaligya, first in, first out gani, no? So, since siya ang nauna dito sa January 1, siya pod ang nauna og dispose. So, all of these purchases plus the beginning, mao na tanan imong nabaligya. So, manumanuhon natong compute and let's try to find out kung mo-equal ba siya sa 3.5 nga atong gi-compute kaganina using the shortcut way. Okay? So that is for for beginning, you have 800. Butang na lang nato diri. You have your 800,000 plus ang kaning imuhang lot number 1, which is 200,000. That's 2,000 times 100 kada isa. Plus, kaning lot number 2 nimo na baligya po, that's 880. Lot number 3, 720 na baligya po. And your lot number 4, but only the 9,000 ang nabaligya. So, 9,000 times 100, that's 900,000. There you go. It's 3.5 million. Again, that's your cost of sale. Ang cost sa tanang nabaligya. So, using the mano-mano way, like isa-isahon yun nimo og compute ang kada item, pwede rin para sure. Mas sure man yun ng mano-mano. Or you could just have the easier way. I-add tanang available for sale and then i-deduct lang ning nabilin. Diba? So, analysis. Mao ni tanan ang ako ang available for sale. So, ayan. So, mao ni tanan akong available for sale. And then, 1/4 of it nabilin, therefore, 3/4 ang nabaligya. So, imo lang gi-deduct. The same analysis pag-abot din hiya. So, that is just the first requirement for this problem. Let's proceed to weighted average periodic. So, usa ning i-hide para di ta lisang. Okay. So, weighted average periodic, on the other hand, like what I've mentioned kaganina, is ato lang i-add tanan and then i-divide lang nato ang total cost sa tanan nga units nga ato ang available for sale. So, ako lang ning i-stay put diri ha. Ayan. Sige, let's begin. Pila tanan ang imuhang units? Na-add na nato, right, ang tanang cost or available for sale, total goods available for sale, that's the beginning and kanitanan. That's why nahimo siyang 4,855. Karon nato na pud ning i-add kung pila tanan ang units. Ayan, 40,000. But take note, naapay 10,000 nga beginning. So, lagay natin dito si beginning. 10,000. So, that would be 40,000 plus 10,000. You have total goods or total number of units available for sale, 50,000. And the total cost is 4,855. So, how do we analyze the weighted average? Simple lang. Average cost per unit is computed as 4,855 katong total cost, ayan divided by the number of units, pila tanan, that's 50,000, ayan din. So that is 4,855 divided by 50,000, and you have 97.10 average cost per unit. And that 97.10 will be used throughout our computation. So first, we will have the inventory end, and that would be 97.10 unit per cost average times ang nabilin nga units, 15,000. So, pila na, please? Ako din naman magko-compute. We have 1,456. Tama ba? 500. Inventory end. Cost of goods sold. Ganun pa rin, 97.10 times pila gani ang atong nabaligya. Hala ma'am, wala nang takabalo, wala nang na-compute. Simple lang. 50,000, di ba to imuhang total units available? Nabilin daw ang 15,000. Pwede pilay nabaligya. That's 50,000 minus 15,000, and that would be 35,000 di ay tanan atong nabaligya. Again, I'm using the easier way. 50 minus 15, pero pwede po nato manumanuhon. Then we will have it later. That's 97.1 times 35,000, and that is 3398,500. Okay. Ay, doble na. That's 3,398,500. So, again, ang atong gigamit ganina is ang easier way to compute the number of goods sold. So, simple lang pod. Kung gusto nato manu-manuhon, ingani lang. Ang nabilin kay 15,000. So, ato na pong split 14,500 plus 500 diri kay lot number 4. So, 9,000 ang nabaligya. 9,000 plus, sige, lagay natin dito. Diri na lang. 9,000 plus kaning nabaligya nga 6,000 plus ang nabaligya pod na 8,000, 2,000, and eventually ang 10,000 nga beginning. And that is 35. So kung gusto nato i-sure, pwede ra pod. Pero kung gusto ta madali, total available minus ang nabilin, 35,000. So that would be our weighted average, inventory end, 1,465 and 3,398,500. Let's proceed to the last item, the specific identification, which is very easy kasi nga identifiable naman ang each unit na nabilin and ang iyahang cost. So sabi niya, assuming the inventory comes from lot number 3, 6,000, and lot number 4, 9,000. So, ang nabilin daw nga 15 mil ka units, gikan kang lot number 3. And pila daw to dito? Okay, ang tanang 6,000 daw wala na halin. And that is 120 each. Therefore, how much is that? That is 720,000. And lot number 4, 9,000. So if you could notice, 6,000 nga lot number 3 ug 9,000 lot number 4, that's the 15,000 nga inventory nga nabilin. So that's 9,000 times how much each? That's 100. And I believe
Ma'am,
that's
excuse me.
900. Yes.
Maday mo sulod, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Oh, ang dami nila. So I believe this is 720 plus 900. That's 1.62 million, right? So your total inventory end, that is 1,620. So gi-add lang nato ang duha ka category. So mo ni siya ang nabilin. So kung mauni ang nabilin, unsa nga items ang nabaligya? Then let's compute na pod. Ang items na nabaligya, first, the beginning. So I'm using the longer method. The beginning inventory. Kasi specific identification, lisod kayo ni i-shortcut. Di ta pwedeng mag-minus-minus lang. So isa-isa gyud specific. First na nabaligya ang beginning inventory nato, that's 10,000 times 80, and that is 800, right? Next, ang lot number 1, nabaligya pod. That is the total of 2,000 times 100, and that is how much? 200,000 ba? Just let me know kung mali akong computation kasi hindi ako gumagamit ng formula sa Excel. And your lot number 2 is also sold. Lahat. 8,000 times 110. I'm afraid that's 880,000. Your lot number 3, okay diyan. Di yan nabenta. Ma'am, wala din nabaligya. Wala. Ito nga, di ba? Inventory end, pasabot na bilin. How about your lot number 4? 9,000 na bilin, therefore, ang 500 na difference ang nabaligya. So, lot 4, that's 500 times how much? 100. And that is 50,000, tama ba? And lastly, your lot number 5. So, mo ni ginaingon nga specific identification. Kailangan siya isa-isahon. So, that's 14. Di na makaya sa ako ang math skills. Ato na i-calculate. That is 1,305. Okay. Palihog kog add ani tanan. 800, 200, 880, 50, 1305. Ako na din. Okay, that is a total of 3,235,000. So that is your cost of goods sold. So this time we are using the long cut method. But actually, nagyud gihapoy shortcut. There is always a shortcut and an easier way for everything if imuha lang yung i-analyze. Actually, kaning 4855, just like what we did in Fifo kaganina, imo lang nang i-deduct sa 1620 nga nabilin, you will still arrive at 3235. Let's try. 4855 minus 1620. Ayan. 3235. Naraman day na idali, ma'am. Nganong ato pa mangi isa-isa? Para mas masabtan and mas ma-emphasize ang specific identification nga method. So, identify na to isa-isa. But if your analysis is well-established, makita nimo nga, ay, pwede ra din siya yung anion. Kasi ato naman po siyang gi-multiply isa-isa, right? Kung makita nimo ang values nga atong gi-compute diri, the 800, the 200, the 880, eto din yun sila. Ayan, 800, 200, 880. Kaso nga lang dito, di nakasali. Ito, 50 na lang. Okay? So, katong 720 and 50, I mean the 900, andito din yun. Wala na to gi-appeal. So, ato ning kani minus kani, maura gihapon, 3235. Tanang available, okay. Tanang available on hand minus ang nabaligya, 3235. So that is the first problem. First problem, 30 minutes. Okay, let's proceed to 11-3. So, in 11-2, we had experienced computing the cost of sales in the inventory end using FIFO, periodic, weighted, average, periodic, and specific identification. So, as we go along, I want us to learn other methods, just like the moving average. Wala pa nato siya na-try. So, maybe soon, ato siyang matry. So, we have here 11-3, and we're talking about MC company, and we are required to compute the year-end inventory, ganun pa rin, and the cost of goods sold. But this time, we are using FIFO and weighted average, periodic. Again, kung FIFO, wala tayo problema kasi periodic or perpetual, the same answer, the same amounts ang mugawas. Let's begin. Ang iyang presentation this time is hindi katulad dun sa first problem. First problem, gihatag niya tanang purchases and the beginning inventory, and then gihatag niya ang end, ang nabilin. Karon, mas lisod. Kay kita ang mag-analyze. Pilay na bilin. Pero dali lang. Di naman siya ganun kahirap. Why? Ito lang. Mo ni mong imuhang beginning. Nipalit do kag 30. Namaligya do kag 20. So minus yon. Nipalit na po kag 60. Nipit po kag 20. Add yon. Namaligya na po kag 70. Minus na naman yon. So, if you do the math, mao to ang ending inventory. Simple lang, di ba? Analyze mo lang. So, mag-start ta by computing the inventory nga nabilin, the number of units. So, para sa kung giingon ka ganina, sige, diri na lang ako ibutang ha. Inventory and so, compute na to kung pila kabuk ang nabilin. Naakay 10,000 beginning. Nipalit daw kag 30, so nadungagan imuhang units, imong materials or inventory specifically. Namaligya kag 20, so bawas, outflow yon. Nipalit na pug kag 60, so add. Palit na pug kag 20, so add na pod. Namaligya na pug kag 70, minus na pod. Okay? Makikita nyo naman dun sa operations na ginawa ko in the formula. Therefore, may nabenta ka pa lang, may naiwan ka na lang na 30,000 units. So, asa man nato na i-base ang 30,000 nga units? Asa nga cost? So, we are using FIFO, first in, first out na pod. Therefore, ato nang i-base sa pinaka-recent or pinaka-latest nga nisulod sa bodega. And ang pinaka-latest is your December 22 purchase. Next, your December 17 purchase. And lastly, ang pinaka-old, your December 7 purchase. Pero tanaw lang nato kung asa lang ni kutob ning 30,000. So, 30,000 will be from your December 22 purchase and that's 20,000. So, kulang po tag 10,000. Aha na to kuhaon ang 10,000. Diri sa December 17 purchase, ang 10,000. You also have there the unit cost, that's 43 and 45. So, mas dali na lang nato nga i-compute. So, inventory end of 30,000 is from, again, your December 22 purchase and your December, your December 17 purchase. And that is 20,000 times 43 na unit cost, and that is how much? 860,000. And your December 17, 10,000 na lang ang kulang. Times, how much? 45 pesos. And that is 450 if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, your total inventory end is 860 plus 450. That is 1.31 million. Total. Hindi na lang. Okay ba? Okay ba ta? Okay. Next, how about our cost of goods sold? So, kung mauni ang nabilin, the rest nabaligya. Sige, ito atong analysis, pwede ra nga shortcut. So, kani, imuhang beginning, tag 52. Ayan. And then, nakapalit na pud ka 30 times 50. Ayan. Huwag na lang. And that is 1.5 million. Disregard the sale, kaya ang ato ang gina-compute din hiya ang total goods available for sale. Tanan gyud nga imong napalit and also ang imong beginning. So, kaning mga purchases lang sa atong focus. Ayan. Therefore, at the end of the year, naadi ay kay how much? 5,580,000 nga available for sale. Yan pala yung lahat. Pero, na-compute na to ganina, nga dili tanan na baligya. 1.31 million ang nabilin sa bodega. Therefore, your cost of goods sold, dito na lang, your cost of goods sold is simply 5,580 minus your 1,310, and that is 4.27 million or 4,270,000. That is the cost of the goods nga nabaligya. Ma'am, ingani among gibuhat kay nabaligya man 20,000 times 90 tapos 70,000 times 90. Mo na among cost of sale. Aha. Are you sure? Ang kanang 90 is not the unit cost pero mo na imong pagbaligya. Presyo sa imong pagbaligya. Atong gina-compute dire ang cost sa nabaligya. Dili kay ang dili imuhang net sales. Okay? Kung gipangutan na kag net sales or gross sales, o pwede ra 20,000 times 90 plus 70,000 times 90. Hindi naman sales ang focus natin. The inventory. So, disregard. Wala din naman tong relevance ang unit selling price. Gipakita lang niya kung tagpila imuhang baligya. Okay? So, you could also use the long cut. Pwede rin. So, 520 plus 1.5 plus Kani dili na ni 2.7 kay ang 10,000 ani nabilin man, di ba? So that will only be 50,000 times 45. 50,000 times 45, and that's 2.25. So 520 plus 1.5 million plus 2.25, ganun din. 4.27 million. So, hindi ko na ipapakita, but if you want to review, go ahead. Mas nindot nga na kay foundation sa long cut bago ka mag-shortcut. So, that would be the first requirement, and let's proceed to the next. We are going to compute the same using the weighted average. Ang saon ganitong weighted average? Okay naman, na-compute na nato ang total cost of goods available for sale. Ang ato na lang i-compute na po in addition ang number of units. So, pila lang ba? Okay, kani si sale, ato sa ning itago kasi wala naman siyang relevance. Kani pong another sale, ato na po ning itago kasi wala naman siyang relevance. So, kanilang, the total goods or units available for sale. So, if we're going to add, ako na lang isa-isahon, kasi ma-appeal si sale. That's 120,000 units for 5.58 million in total. So, your weighted or your average unit per cost, mali. Average cost per unit pala yun. That is 5,580,000 divided by 120,000 kabuok, and that would be 46.5 each. And that 46.5, dira na dayon mag-base ato ang inventory and also our cost of goods sold. So, inventory end, we have 46.5 times pila ganitong nabilin. Diba? Ato man itong na-compute ganina, and that was 30,000, right? So, how much? Alright, that's 1,395,000. And your cost of goods sold, however, ganun pa rin, 46.5 times, pila kaya atong nabaligya? Pwede na po nato manumanuhon. We have 10,000, 30,000, 40 na. Nya, di ba 50,000 dire nabaligya? So, 40 plus katong 50 dire, that's 90,000. Or, para mas dali, 120, the total, minus 30 nga nabilin, that's 90. So, 90,000. And that is 4,185,000. Okay. And that is problem 11-3. And lastly, our 11-6, this time, I'm so excited kasi may moving average na siya. So, dali na, pwede lang nato piyungan ang periodic, Fifo periodic, o ang weighted average periodic. Pero ang moving average, even I myself, lisod kong piyong-piyong ani. Okay? Pero kaning uban, ay nakomensin pag wala tayo scratch paper. Calculator lang, we're good to go. So, let's have extreme company this time, and ganun pa rin ang presentation niya ng data, just like the second problem. And we're going to compute for the cost of ending inventory again and the cost of sales using FIFO, weighted average, and moving average. Let's begin with FIFO. We have the inventory end. We have 10,000. Sige, dali na ko ibutang. 10,000. Nakabaligya daw ta og 5, so minus yun. And then, nakapalit tag 15,000 plus. Nakabaligya 18, minus na pod. Nipalit na pog 25, and nibaligya na pod og 12. So, plus minus lang. Therefore, ang nabilin nga inventory is 15,000. So, asa na to i-base ang 15,000 sa latest na purchase. And that is on the October 1 purchase. Kaya lang ba i-absorb ang 15,000? Yes. 25,000 daw atong napalit o niya, 15,000 na bilin. So, hindi na natin kailangang pumunta pa kay April 1 purchase. Unlike the previous problems, nabantayan ninyo ang last two purchases ang ato ang ma-exhaust kasi kulang yung first. Pero this time, okay na rin naman, ma-absorb na rin naman. Therefore, your inventory end is based on your October 1 purchase, and that is 15,000 times your unit cost, that's 60 pesos, and 15,000 times 60, that's 900. Ay, so many. Ay, okay. That's 900,000. Okay ba? Okay. So, this is inventory, and now let's proceed to the cost of goods sold. Ayan, may total cost naman data diri. So, dali na lang. Butangan na itong peso sign pa di ta malibog. Ay, bakit ayaw niya? Ay, ayaw niya. Wait lang. Ay, ayun. Okay, that's 400,750. Ay, nawala na naman. And your 1.5 million. That's a total of 2.65. Okay. So, let's proceed to the cost of goods sold. Mao ni atong total and mao ni ang nabilin. Therefore, your cost of goods sold is simply 2,650 minus your 900,000, and that is 1.75 million. Would you agree? 1.75 million. Gusto nimo manumanuhon? Pwede ra pod. 400,000 plus 750 plus kadtong 10,000 nga wala na nga nabaligya. I mean, 10,000 nga nabaligya times 60. So, I guess that's 600,000. Nganong 10,000 na lang kay ang 15 dara na bilin. Then, add it all together, you will have the same answer. That's 1.75 million. Let's proceed to the next. We have weighted average. So, ganun pa rin, atong i-compute ang total cost divided by total units available for sale. So, ato ning taguan si sales. Taguan lang sa nato. Ayan. Ito yung total cost. At yung sales naman, 10,000. Ay, bakit 10,000? Sabon ako. 50,000. No? 25. Okay. Therefore, our average unit, average unit na naman. Average cost per unit is your 2,650 divided by 50,000 units, and that is 53? Tama ba? 2,650,000 divided by 50,000. Would you agree na 53? Mamo to ni gawas akong calculator. Mauguro dito. Okay. 53. And then, let's compute inventory end. Pila ganitong nabilin? Ato man itong na-compute ganina. That was 15, right? 15,000 times our 53 pesos, and that is 795,000. And then, our cost of goods sold, kung naatay 50,000 available and then 15,000 ang nabilin, therefore, ang nabaligya, 35,000. times again our weighted average, 53 pesos. And that would be 1,855,000. Okay. That is for the weighted average. Now let's proceed to the more challenging one. We have the moving average. And for the moving average, we're going to use these columns or labels. We have the date. Gigutom na ko. We have the units. Naningil na akong tiyan. We also have the unit cost, which is the critical part of our moving average. And lastly, we have our total cost. Ayan. Bilis na prog format. Sige lang. Okay. So first, ato na tong ipakita tong mga atong ipangtago diri. So in the moving average, that's the time that kadtong sales transactions magamit. So ato tong i-reveal ug balik atong mga sales transaction. So first, we have January 1 and our units 10,000. Our unit cost is 40 and we have total cost of 400,000. Next, on January 31, nakabaligya ta og 5,000, so that's a minus 5,000. Minus 5,000, and pila man atong pagbaligya? Ang atong pagbaligya based sa ato ang current unit cost. So our current unit cost is 40, therefore ang pagkabaligya is 40 pod. And that would be minus 200,000. Therefore, the balance is 200,000 and 5,000. Unit cost, ganun pa rin, 40. That's 200 divided by 5,000. Wala namang changes dito sa taas, so we're going to expect na 40 pa rin yun. Then, our next transaction was April 1. Ito, purchase. So, on April 1, ayan, ayaw niya. Check sa nako, ha? Kay murag na ay nag-admit. Okay. On April 1, there was a purchase of 15,000. So, purchase man, so plus. And how much? 50 kada isa. Therefore, there is a 750 cost. So, every transaction, atong i-update ang atuang balances. It's 20,000. But this time, atong unit cost, medyo libog na, ma'am. 40 or 50, unsa may sundon. So, mo na ginatawag na moving average. Dili dira atong sundon, kundi total cost divided by your units. So, 950 divided by 20,000. Mugay ng average. Therefore, we have 48. Sige. Ako na lang ning butangan o ayan, di pa siya 48 kasi tinago yung decimals. So, we have 47.5 unit per cost. Next, the next transaction was on July 31, nakabaligya og 18,000. So, minus yon 18,000. Question, sale man ni ma'am, unsa man nga cost amang sundon? Di ba pag sale, unsa ganito, kaganina we have also a sale here. Ayan. Sale. And then this one is a purchase. And then this one is a sale. Kung purchase, wala tayo problema. Kasi, naghatag mong yun na siya cost. Ito. So, 50, ganun din, 50. 50, tsaka 50. Pero pag sale, dira nato kailangan i-analyze nga ang ato ang pagbaligya is based sa recent nga unit cost. So, every time nga natay sale, ang ato ang cost nga item, nga column, is based sa recent. And that is 47.5. The same din hiya, Ang atong cost is based on the recent, the 40 pesos. So, kung hatagan ka dirag column nga, unit selling price, ignore. Unsa nang unit selling price? Pareha ani o. Diba naman to unit selling price kaganina diri Kani, ignore mo yan. Along the way, wala talaga yan siyang relevance. Pwede ra kapalibugon. So, again, the 18,000 will be based on the 47.5. And that would be 855. Therefore, our balance this time is 95,000. Wala namang changes. So, 47.5 and 2,000. Tama ba? Next, after July 31, we have the last transaction and it is the October 1 purchase. Ay, ito na ba yung last? Purag na pa may naka-hide. Ay, ayan, mayroon pa pala. We have the October 31 purchase. So, purchase na po daw. Kung purchase, wala tayong problema sa unit cost kasi ganun pa rin naman. How much was it? We have 25,000 at 60. Palit tag 25,000 tag 60, therefore nadungagan og 1.5 million and our new balance this time is 1,595. And our inventory is 27,000. So asa lang man ta mag-change dinhi asa to ang unit cost. So this time, since dili man ni pareha ang ibabaw, 47 man ni og 60, so mag-compute na po tag average, that is total cost divided by your units, and you have your new unit cost, that's 59.7. So in case that you will have a sale, which you really had a sale, that was on 12/31, a sale of, 12,000. So, kay nakabaligya kag 12,000, dyan mo ibibase sa 59.07, the latest unit cost, ang imuhang sale. So, deduct 708,840 and you have your new balance. Na 886,160. 59.07 pa rin to. And this time, naiwan na lang is 15,000. So actually, kung imo po ning i-divide, kasi moving tayo always, di ba? Dapat ang formula nato sa unit cost is always total cost divided by units. Kasi if you could notice, pag nakakita kog walay changes diri sa ibabaw, diretso na kog 40. Pero kung imo lang i-compute using the same formula for unit cost, that's total cost divided by units, 40 pa rin yun. Okay? So, shortcut na lang to. I-analyze na lang po. Nganong kailangan pa man ako i-divide nga wala may changes sa ibabaw. Pero parihaan ni 40, 50 na i-change, di ba? Dili sila pariha. So, that's the time that I do the formula. Ayan. And then, ito, wala na namang change. So, copy lang nako. Pero kung gusto jud ka sure, pwede ra pod i-divide. Yan. And, if you're using the calculator, that's time-consuming. Unlike sa Excel, diretso lang. But, since hindi naman kayo nag-Excel, so, that's a hint or a tip. Kung walay change, copy mo na lang. Kung walang change, copy mo. Pero parihaan nga na ay change, i-compute mo. Kasi hindi mo makakopy. Anong ikakopy mo, di ba? 59.7. And ayaw ka confuse kung kani diretso imong kuhaon nga average. Compute natin ha. Ma'am, dili man sila pariha. Ako na lang ning i-plus tapos i-divide. Gusto jud ka. 47.5 plus 60. Ayun. Kasi nga average, di ba? Then divide 2. Ayan. Ibang answer. 53.75 versus 59.07. Magkaiba yon. Maunang ayaw to gamita nga analysis just because average. Bakit? Kasi, tingnan mo naman ang units. 2,000, 25,000. Dihado po si 25,000 kung mahimo na lang siya 53 pesos, di ba? So, i-consider yun nato siya as a whole. So, yung pag-compute, total cost divided by unit. Again, may hint tayo na pag walang changes, copy mo na lang. Okay? So, that is our moving average and that would be our last problem for this chapter. Naghahanap ako ng ibang moving average eh. Sige. For our exercise this morning, before we proceed, since isang problem lang ang na-applyan natin ng moving average, I want you to answer this one. So, wait lang ha. Mag-pictures ako kasi hindi ko kasi na-type dito sa book. Kung may question naman, just raise it in our chat box para ma-address. Ay, nagyod ay something sa tong chat. Ma'am, na daw mo sulod. Yun lang pala. Sige, okay na po. Ay, 8:37 pa. Napaka-late na. Okay? Ito, share ko to. And then, please prepare, ganun pa rin, just last time, ang first na maka-answer deserves a point. Sige, a point? Deserves some points. So, allow me to share, phone nga pala gamit ko, so kailangan kong mag-join. Wait lang ha, prepare nyo lang. Our next topic, however, is lower of cost and net realizable value. So, ang daming ganap dito sa inventory. So, when you will be in the field soon, magiging accountant na kayo, magiging auditors ba kayo, ang inventory is very critical. Ayun. Sorry. Okay. Eto, allow me to share my screen. Ako naman ang mag-share this time. Ay, hindi niya na-share. Ayan. Ay, ito daw. Bakit camera? Ayan. Nakikita niyo ba yung problem? About Jailbird Company. Okay ba? Maklaro ba? Hello? Hello? Okay ra, maklaro ra. I need
Gamay
some
kayo, ma'am.
confirmation. Ha, gamay
Gamay
kayo.
kayo, ma'am.
Sige, try kong ayan, nakikita nyo na lahat. Okay lang, wala naman akong tinatago. Ay, sorry. May nakita tuloy. Ano ba yan? Ayan. Ayan, okay na yan. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
O, sige, let's begin. Let the computation begin. So, yung first na mag-a-answer ha, may points yun. Tamang answer. What is the average cost of the inventory on January 31? So, maybe 2 minutes will do. 5 minutes na lang. Murag taas-taas. Ma'am, wala ko yung makita. Ay, hala. Hindi ako ha, yung ibang account ko. Si Lou Amor ang nag-share. Hindi si Willu Amora. Ibang account kasi I'm using my phone. Okay ra, makita ra. Or pwede ko ding isend sa GC if you want. Kaso wala na dito yung GC ko. Okay na, ma'am. O sige, okay na pala. All right, we have one answer on the board, but maybe um I will wait for some more answers just in case na may iba pa rin na makatama or makakuha in case na hindi po 7625 ang answer, okay? So keep on computing yung sa iba na nag-struggle pa. We have another answer. I mean, another person with the same answer. 7625. Okay. Sige. Pag decimal po ang result sa average nila, ikopya dyan ang decimal niya, ma'am. Dili na siya round off, ma'am. You could have at least, or at most, 2 decimal places. Pareha sa kaganina nato nga computation, 2 decimal places ang ginamit natin. Okay. Okay. So, I think, ayan, 9:20 na. So, maulaw na guro ang uban. Ma'am, good morning. Please excuse me. Sorry po. May mga nagme-message. Okay. Sige. Ay, nawala. Ano nangyari? Okay. Ay, di ko na nagigets. Nasaan na yon? Wait lang. Ay, ano ba yan? Am I still presenting or wala na? Wala na no? Ay, wala na. Okay, so since may mga nag-answer naman na, let's try to check kung sakto ba ni ilahang mga answers. Final na gyud, wala na mo dugang din ha, wala na yung mga nag-change sa ilahang mga hearts. Ay, ang tagal naman ng ano dito, internet. Ako na lang i-share ha, dito as a messenger. para okay ra. Okay. So, we are concerned about Jailbird Company and we are going to compute for the moving average cost. And what is new about this problem is kaning mga purchase return and sales return. So, kung alam naman natin ang nature ng purchase returns at sales returns, I guess wala naman tayong problema. Pero kung wata kailaani ng mga accounts, then, ayun, may malaki tayong problema dyan. Okay. So, ato sa ning i-clear ang ako ang table diri. Ay, hindi nyo nakikita. Hindi ko pala na share. I-share ko muna. Wala na ako naka-present, no? Sige. Palihog na lang kong tanaw dito sa messenger nga file. I mean the photo akong gisend sa messenger para ako ang ma-share ako ang Excel file because I cannot share dalawang device na maglisod ta, malangan ta. So ang ako ang i-share din ako ang Excel file, the computation, and then pwede ninyong tanawon ang inyuhang ang katunga photo while we are computing or answering the question. Sige, let's begin. We have the first transaction on January 1. That's 1-1. And that, ang date, andito nga pala, 1-1. That's beginning. And we have 16,000. And the cost is 140 each. Therefore, total cost, we have 2.24 million as given. The next transaction was a purchase and that happened on January 5. January 21. Ay, ilagi siya mo dawat og January 5. Nganong January 21? Hala, ang nangyari sa laptop? Ay, nako, 5-21. Ay, dili jud January 21 jud yung ingon. Kapoy naman og set sa date. So, ana na lang. Kapoy na og format. That's January 5. It's a purchase of 4,000 and that is 150 each. Therefore, you have 600,000. And the total, the average, the moving total is 2.84 and your units is 20,000. And since, ayan, 140, 150, hindi naman siya magkapareho. Therefore, let's divide. That's 142 moving average or moving unit cost. Our next transaction happened on January 10. Happened on January 10 and it was a sale. Ayan. A sale of 15,000. Buti na lang walang binigay na unit selling price. At least dili ta malibog. So if this is a sale, our unit cost is based on the latest and that is the 142. Minus nga pala kasi sale. And also a deduction in our total cost. Therefore, our balance is 710 and 5,000. Since wala namang changes, 142, 142, 142 din yan. But for the sake na makita natin kung paano, that is 710 divided by 5,000. Our next transaction is a purchase. And it happened, ayan, and it happened on January 15. A purchase of 20, ayan. January 15, a purchase of 20,000. That's an add of 160 each. And that is a total of 3.2 million. Therefore, our total balance is 3.91 and units of 25,000. And our unit cost is simply 3.91 divided by 25,000. So we have the current unit cost of 156.40. Next, we have January 16, a purchase return. Ayan. This is something new in this problem and that makes it more exciting and challenging. Ano po ba tong purchase return? Katong imuhang gipalit, gikumpra, imong gibalik. So kay imo mang gibalik, pila to, 1,000 ay minus to. Minus 1,000. But ma'am, asa man mi mag-base? Is it from 156 or some other unit cost? Ang imong gibalik, 1,000. We are going to assume that every time there is a purchase return, based na siya sa pinaka-recent nga purchase. The same goes with your sales return. Kung naa kay sales return, based na siya sa pinaka-recent nga sale. Okay? Ma'am, unsay relevance? It's like this. What if na I purchase dere, January 15? What if on January 16 na I sale? Okay? And then on January 17, saka pa ka nag-purchase return. So, libog na ka, hala, layo naman ang purchase. Kato pa mang naaging adlaw, unya, nag-sale naman ko, unya, purchase. Don't be confused. Any purchase return is based on the recent purchase. Katong pinakabago ni mong purchase. That means 160 din yan. Okay? So, in our problem, binigay niya naman. Unit cost, 160. Pero may mga problems din na hindi niya ibibigay. It will test your analysis. So, wala tayong problema dito. We have 160,000 a deduction. A deduction kasi nga, binalik mo yung item. Therefore, the balance is 3.75 million and 24,000 na lang. So, ayan. You could see, hindi na naman sila magkapareho. That's 15640 and then 160. So, 156.25. Okay pa ba tayo? Nagigets pa rin ba? Kung na mga pangutana, then butang dito sa atong chat box kay para dili ta malibog. Next, what happened next was a sale, and that was January 25. A sale of 8,000, ay minus nga pala kasi sale. And saan tayo magbe-base? 156.25. Therefore, mababawasan ng 1.25 and our new balance is 2.5 million. So we have 16,000 left, and therefore our unit cost is 156.25 kasi wala namang changes. Pinakita ko lang kung paano siya kinompute. And then on January 26, right after your sale or a day after the sale, binalik ni customer sales return. That's January 26, kay iya manggibalik sa atua, therefore nadungagan na pod atuang items or units. So don't be confused again, ang imuhang point of view dire, ikaw si seller. Okay? Na maligya ka, gibalik sa imuha mo nang ginatawag na sales return, so i-add og balik. Pasabot na balik sa imuhang bodega. Okay, so that's 20,000. And then, since sales naman siya, magbe-base pa rin tayo dun sa recent sale. Ayan. Pariha atong recent purchase na 160, kani recent sale nga 156.25. And that is 3.125. Wala namang changes. So, we believe na magiging 156.25 pa rin yun. And lastly, we purchased at the end of the month 30,000 of 150 pesos each, and that is 4.5. Ayan, hapit na gid ta sa moment of truth. That is 7,625 for 50,000. Therefore, our new unit cost is 152.5. So, ang tinatanong natin is ang cost at the end of the month. So, ito po yun, 7,625. And, tingnan natin. Ito po ba yung answer ni Madam? Ay, okay. Ayan. 7,625. So, once again, ato naguro ng iban, kadugayan si Glemar. Siya din yung nakakuha kahapon. So, once again, we have Glemar who got the correct answer. And the next is Noreen. So, naging instruction or naging mechanics natin is yung first na nakakuha ng tamang answer. So, next time, kung dili mo makauna, ato na lang i-wish nga unta mali ang nag-una. Ganun na lang, no? So, bahalag iwit, basta kita ang tama. Ang mga nauna, mali. I could remember my reviewer in the board exam, in the CPA board, sabi niya na during board exam, aside na ipagdasal mo na pumasa ka, ipagdasal mo din na bobo kayong lahat. Kasi pag bobo kayong lahat, konti lang papasa, mag-a-adjust si PRC. Pero hindi naman yun totoo. Pero, wala lang. It's a funny thing. Ipagdasal mo na, sana po, bobo kami lahat. Para fair ang competition. Okay. So, that is it for our chapter 11. And, ano nga ulit yung chapter 11? Ayan, nakalimutan ko na yung title. Inventory cost flow. Ayun. So, we are going to proceed to LCNRV. Kung wala na po tayong tanong, then let's have lower of cost and net realizable value. So, throughout the history of our inventory discussion, lagi po tayong naka-cost. No? Pansin nyo ba? Laging cost. I also mentioned na pag binigay si selling price, ang ating concern is cost. Pag nag-compute ta sa ato ang FIFO or average, hindi po tayo doon sa unit selling price, kundi sa unit cost. But there might be times na yung cost pala natin is hindi pala siya yung, let's say, reality check. Pag atong ibaligya ang ato ang inventory, dili di ay nato kaya hatagan og ginansya or butangan og ginansya or markup. What do I mean by that? Example, ang ato ang highlighter. Wala na ako ibang makitang item. Ayan. Ang ato ang highlighter is 30 pesos atong pagkompra. Diba? So, kung atuan nang i-record, ang atuang cost, yon, historical cost is 30 pesos. But later on, as the days went by, medyo humina ang benta ng highlighters kasi wala namang nag-highlight ngayon na gamit ito kasi puro na soft copies. May highlighter naman si PDF and ibang app. So, hindi na siya masyadong mabenta. So, mabibenta lang pala siya ng mga medyo may deduction. Mga 20 na lang, no? From 30 to 20. So, in our financial statement, di ba, lalagay natin doon, inventory at cost yon, supposedly. Hindi natin siya pwedeng ilagay na 30 yung cost. Kasi, marirealize lang pala natin siya or mabibenta lang pala natin siya at 20 pesos. So, sabi naman ni standard, observing conservatism or prudence, di ba? Do not overstate your asset. Do not understate your liability. So, we're talking about asset. Focus tayo dun sa statement na do not overstate your asset. So, kung feeling mo naman, hindi mo naman siya marirealize ng ganyang amount kasi nag-obsolete na siya or damaged na siya, di ba? Na mga inventory, mga cellphone, mga gadgets and things, kasi obsolete na siya, hindi mo siya pwedeng ilagay sa inventory dun sa amount na feeling mo malaki. Kasi, at the end of the line, pag ibinenta mo na siya, hindi naman pala ganun kalaki ang magiging profit or marirealize natin. So, let's proceed to our LCNRV. That's just an introduction. Okay. Hindi ko pa pala na-share. So, allow me to share. Ano tong yes, ma'am? May nag-message ng yes, ma'am. Okay. LCNRV. So we will be able to know the measurement of inventory in the statement of financial position, like what I've mentioned kanina. Na-mention ko si balance sheet or financial statement. Explain kung ano tong LCNRV. Kasi masyadong mahaba. Lower of cost and net realizable. Diba? LCNRV na lang. And then, to account for inventory write-down. Ayan. Pag makakita-kitag down, murag, di gini maayo. So, write down using allowance and direct method. So, we have two methods here. And to know the treatment of purchase commitments in relation to LCNRV. So, may mga purchase commitments din. I think yung term naman na purchase commitment is understandable. Nag-commit ka na mag-purchase ka, ganun din yun. Yung mga commitments natin dyan, anong klaseng commitments yan? Purchase commitment din ba? Or ibang commitment? Okay, let's proceed. Measurement of inventory. Again, we're talking about PAS2 or Philippine Accounting Standards number 2. Sabi niya, inventories shall be measured at lower of cost and net realizable value. Actually, all throughout our discussion, gikan sa chapter 10, chapter 11, we talked about cost. So what's new about this chapter is we are going to learn ano naman tong NRV. Ano tong net realizable value. And take note, sabi niya, lower. Ma'am, bakit hindi higher? Bakit kailangan lower ang piliin? Di ba mas favorable man, ma'am, kung ang higher? Again, prudence, conservatism, sabi niya, do not overstate your assets. So, para safe, piliin mo yung mas mababang amount or lower amount. So, what is net realizable value? It is the estimated selling price. Ayun, yun yung sabi ko kanina. Kung pila imong pagbaligya. But hindi lang doon. Your estimated selling price, ang presyo sa pagbaligya, less the estimated cost of completion. Ma'am, bakit may cost of completion? Kasi may mga items, di ba? Let's say you're a manufacturing concern, hindi pa tapos ang item mo. Goods in process pa siya. So, napaka-cost, gasto para ma-complete siya, para mahimo siyang finished goods. So, i-deduct mo yon dahil additional cost yon. And the estimated cost of disposal. So, like delivery, okay, kasali yon sa inventoriable cost. Installation, so ganon. Para ma-dispose ang mga items mo. Hindi naman pala siya delivery kasi yung delivery, transportation expense. But we're going to, we're going to learn the concept of cost of disposal later. So the cost of inventories may not be recoverable under the following circumstances. Of course, pag na-damage na yung inventory, parang ang hirap na nun, pwede na siyang maging scrap, pwede na siyang maging basura or waste, gamito na lang, i-recycle na lang siya para magamit ang ubang materials pero hindi mo na siya ma-recover na as is, okay? And then, the inventories have become wholly or partially obsolete, so medyo applicable to sa mga gadgets, di ba? So, dili nimo pwede nga ang nag-obsolete na nga item or gadget is imuha pang ma-recover. Kung obsolete na yun na siya. So, if you could remember si Nokia, 5510, tama ba? Tama ba ito nga unit? 5510. Nag-obsolete na siya then for pila ka decades. 5110, sorry kaayo, no? Kaya di ko pro. I'm not an expert. So, 5110, pila pa ka decades bago siya na-revive kasi nga obsolete na siya. And the moment na na-revive siya, or nabalik siya sa market, may ibang features na din. So, it's not the original 5110 na ato ang nahibalaan before, kung nakaabot pa mo ana nga generation. So, hindi na siya ma-recover. Then, when the selling price have declined, so, ning baba yun pag-ayo ang presyo sa market. So, kung sa una, makabaligya pa kag, sa man na nag-decline. Ano mga obsolete nga mga items. So, sa una, ang 5110, libo-libo pa, pero karon tag 700 na lang. So, yun, not recoverable. And the estimated cost of completion or the cost of sale, cost of disposal has increased. So, mas nidako ang imuhang gasto. So, lisod na kay recover. The practice of writing inventories down below cost to net realizable value is consistent with the one that I mentioned kaganina. The assets shall not be carried in excess of amounts expected to be realized. So, kung ang highlighter nimo tag 20 na lang man ni siya nga, kaya lang nimo siyang ibaligya sa 20, then wag mo nang ilagay sa financial statement mo na 30 ang cost. Sige. Kay again, hindi yon ang sabi ng conservatism approach natin. So, sabi pa dito, furthermore, that the inventories are written down in an item by item. So, hindi naman siya yung, let's say, balik ta sa gadget company. So, item by item na to siya nga ginatanaw nga, ay, kanin siya nga unit, naghinihinay na siya ko-obsolete. So, siguro, dili na ni, ang iyahang cost, ang iyahang net realizable value is mas gamay na sa iyahang cost. Ay, kanipod na specific unit, parang medyo makamasa ni siya this time. So, okay lang ni siya at cost gihapon ni siya. So, item by item, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-collect lahat. Tapos, ay, kanitanan, ato na ni siyang bawasan. Or, kailangan na nato siya i-decrease ang iyahang amount sa atong financial statement. So, ano naman? Case to case, item by item basis. Ayun. And then, accounting for inventory write-down. May mga ano pa ba dito? So, ako lang kuhaon ha ang katong gist or katong mga naay unod na mga statement. Okay. Parang mayroon yun dito kanina. Eto. When a decline in the price of materials indicates that the cost of the finished goods exceeds net realizable value, the materials are written down to net realizable value. Materials held for use in production are not written down if the finished goods which they will be incorporated are expected to be sold at or above cost. So, ganito lang yon. Balikan natin si furniture. Kung ang imuhang material is, let's say, katong wood, kaning wood, nga gigamit nato for the furniture is tag 100. Now, ang materials nato for production is tag 100, pero, along the way, mabaligya lang din nato ang furniture by 80. Sige, 80 lang. Diba naaman tay grupo-grupo sa ato ang inventory? We have the materials, the goods in process, and the finished goods eventually. So, kaning materials, tag 100 siya, ma'am, dili pa man ta sure kung pila dyan pagkabaligyaan ni. So, kailangan ba ni nato siya i-adjust between the lower of the cost and net realizable value? Ato siyang i-compare sa finished goods. 100 siya ron, pero kung ma-finish na siya and then ato siyang ibaligya sa market, tag 80 ra. So, ayaw nagpaabot nga mo, abot pa siya sa finished goods bago ka mag-adjust. Karon pa lang daan, maginahinay na kag-adjust. So, katong materials nimo, pwede nimo babaan na. Okay? Kasi yung realizable value na pala is less than the 100 cost. What if ganito naman? 100. Pero, pag abot dito sa unahan, mabaligya siya 120 pag na-finish na siya. So, there's no need for us to adjust kasi ma-cope up raman day gihapon ang iyahang cost. So, what if ani ma'am, kung mupalit ko og, ang kaning nga item is medyo obsolete na. Kaning nga wood, ma'am, is medyo obsolete. So, kung obsolete na siya, ma'am, kailangan na nato siya i-adjust. Pwede. Pero again, i-compare nato siya sa finished goods. Kung kaya nato siya ibaligya, kasi dadaan pa naman siya ng process, right? Yung materials natin, dadaan pa naman sa process. Pwede pa siya ma-enhance. Pag na-enhance siya, nabaligya o more than, or even at cost or above cost, then wag mo muna siyang i-adjust. May pag-asa pa. Ha? So, ganun yon. Next, we have here the methods. Okay. Accounting for inventory write-down. These are very important. If the cost is lower than the net realizable value. Unsa dito originally ang atong inventory? At cost. Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin from the very beginning. Cost. Kung ang imuhang cost mas gamay sa net realizable value, wala tay problema. Kaya di ba ang sundon kung asa ang gamay? Naka-cost ta originally, imo to ang mas gamay, o di walang adjustment. Pero, pag ang net realizable value is lower than cost, ibig sabihin, mas dako atong cost, tapos si net realizable value gamay lang, then that's the time na mag-adjust ta. Para mas dali, ato ang pagsabot. Butangan na itong figures. Originally, our inventory is measured at cost. Kanay balik ta. Tag 30. And then, at the end of the year, ato ang gi-compute pila ang NRV. So, ang ito pag-compute sa NRV, balikan nato. Estimated selling price less estimated cost of completion less estimated cost of disposal. So, pag-compute na to, ang nigawas 20. So, 30 versus 20, asa may sundon? The 20. But since our financial records are based on the cost na 30, so kailangan na to siya i-drag pababa. Kailangan na to siya i-adjust. Lahion na to. Our cost originally is 30. Karon pag-compute na to sa NRV, naging 40. Asa may sundon? The 30 or the 40? Whichever is lower, which is 30. Pero atong financial records, naka-30 naman daan kasi nakasunod ta sa cost. So, walang adjustment na gagawin. Yun ha? Remember that. Methods of inventory write-down. We have the direct method and the allowance method. So, direct method, pag may nakita kang difference between the net realizable value and the cost, kasi nga, mas malaki yung net realizable value kaysa, mas malaki si cost kaysa kay NRV, then, any difference, papunta agad kay cost of goods sold. Okay, so, wala nang keme-keme, go. Cost of goods sold na siya. Di ba cost of goods sold is aka expense, din yan siya. So, tawag na to niya kay kanang cost of sale, di ba? So, the expense of, ato imuhang kapital, kumbaga ba, sa imuhang gipangumpra. Okay? So, kung makakita ta, nga murag ni obsolete na ginahinay ang item, any difference, go. Directly, cost of sale. Pero, ang isang method naman, sabi niya, ay, wag muna, basin dig makabawi pa. So, nag-allowance lang sa ta. That is what we call the allowance method. Okay? Ganun lang. So, inventory is recorded at lower. Nasabi ko na din yan kanina. And under direct method, any difference or the loss on inventory write-down, so mura siya loss on obsolescence, no? Kanang nag-obsolete na yung item ba, is buried in the cost of goods sold. So, diretso na siya dito So, the usual computation of cost of goods sold or cost of sale, ang last amount adto, i-add lang loss on inventory write-down, then that's it. That's your total cost of goods sold. Allowance, on the other hand, sabi niya, any loss on inventory is accounted for separately. Meron siyang specific account title. And this is what we call the allowance for inventory write-down. Remember the allowance for doubtful accounts? Katuganing kay accounts receivable. Pag feeling nimo dili na mo bayad imong friend, pwede nimong i-write off diretsyo. Like, okay, di na siya mabayad. Out. Pero napayuban nga, nagyapoy hopeful kayo nga basig mo bayad pa si friends, allowance lang sa nako ni ibutang. So, the same goes with the inventory. So, in the subsequent years, this allowance is adjusted upward or downward, depende kung may mga changes along the way. So, if the required allowance increases, ayon, additional loss. If the required allowance decreases, ayon, may gain on reversal. So, gain on reversal, this is your hope na basig makabawi pa imong inventory. For example, balik ta din hiya sa ato ang marker, di ba? Ang ato ang write down ani niya is nahulog naman nga tag 20. So, what if the next year 30 di ba to yung cost? The next year kay ni 25 kasi nag face-to-face na po, di balik na naghinahinay, nagbalik ang face-to-face nga klase, so magamit na ang highlighter sa mga dasig mag-study. So, medyo nakabawi na, tag 25. So, katong 5 nga saka, we call it the gain on reversal if we are using the allowance method. However, the gain is limited only to the extent of the allowance balance. Unsay pasabot ani? So let's say nag face to face na gid tanan. Originally 30, ning naog og 10 kaya naging 20. Di balik og 5. What if sa the following period nahimo na siyang 32? Okay? So musaka na pug another 7, hindi na. Dito lang takutob sa 30. Kato original niya nga cost. Okay? Do not overstate your asset once again. Reminder. Kana gyud ha? Always remember. 10 lang man to originally ang allowance. Pagsakag 5, ayaw nagpasakaag more than 5 kasi 5 na lang din ang naiwan. Yun yung sabi niya na the gain is limited only to the extent of the allowance balance. Now, preferably, the allowance method is used. So, sama sa ato ang accounts receivable, preferably ang ato ang allowance method ato ang ginagamit. As a matter of fact, PAS2 requires disclosure of the amount of any inventory write-down and the amount of any reversal of inventory. Ayan, inventory write-down. So, kung nag-require siya ana nga mga items, so pasabot, allowance method yun ang iyang gina-encourage na igamit nato. Kasi, kapag gumamit ka ng direct method, wala naman yung allowance, wala naman yung gain on reversal. Tama? Kanya si PAS2 nag-require man, so it's the other way of saying nga iya puntang gi-require nga mag-allowance. Although hindi naman sinabing ni-require niya. Pero, eto nga, kailangan disclosure. So, kung gusto ka, isa na lang imong trabaho, mag-allowance ka na lang. So, we have illustrations here. Illustration, inventory data on December 31, 2019. Ayan, naka-category na siya. Balikan natin si item by item. Sabi niya item by item, pero wala ni siya pag nagpasabot nga kada isa na lang jud ka item. Sabi niya naman dito that it may be appropriate to group similar or related items. So, kung naakay let's say, unsa pa ba? Kung naakay 5110 nga pulo ka buok, ay iisa i-grupo na lang na siya. Okay? Unsa pa ba old na unit? 50. Naman ko nadunggan sa una nga 53. 55. Nakalimutan ko na. Basta yung mga items naman na parang makaka-relate lang din naman sila sa isa't isa dahil obsolete na sila. Pwede mo nang i-group yun. Huwag mo nang isa-isahin. So, ayan. Sa illustration natin, categorize. We have 1, 2, and 3. Andito din si cost and NRV. Actually, madali lang kasi ito nga. Hindi naman sa pero madali lang to. Kasi, pipiliin mo lang kung saan yung mas mababang amount. So, ayan, 110 daw, ang imong NRV, 100. That means, 110 ang imong pagkumpra sa imong cost, pero mabaligya nimo siya og 100, then wag mo nang i-overstate, 100 atong sundon. Ganun lang. Kung kapuyan ka mag-analyze, then go, pilian na ng pinakagamay or mas gamay. 690, 750, 690. 600, 640, 600. Ganun lang. 19, and then 15, kasi yan yung mas maliit. We have 1460, 16, ayan. And then, i-add mo yan lahat. Ito yung LCNRV, yan yung lower. Pero, ito yung nandun sa financial statements. Tama? Kasi ito yung cost. Ito yung original na valuation natin. So, from this, going to this, there is a decrease of, is that 150,000 na decrease? 8 million minus 7,850. Ayan. May 150,000 na decrease. So, later. Okay. LCNRV item by item or individual, ayan, 785,000. If we are using the item by item or individual. Pero kung gagamitin natin yung by category, hindi. Ayan, undo muna ako. By category. So, i-add sa by category and then see the difference. In category 1, we have 1,4 and 1,490, whichever is lower. In category 2, we have 3,5 and 3,460, whichever is lower. Category 3, we have 3,1 and 3,150, whichever is lower. So, add all of all of these, you will have 7.96. So kung ang imong basihan is by category, then you will have 7.96 LCNRV. Next, what if ang atuang basihan is by total, like i-add na gyud tanan imong inventory, then saka nato siya tan-awon ng difference. O dito ta sa total cost 8 million, NRV 8.1. Therefore, the lower is the 8 million. LCNRV 8 million. So, depende na sa company kung asa ang mas reasonable. So, they are going to use professional judgment kung asa ang mas reasonable nga presentation, ang item by item ba, ang by category, or by total. Kung tapulan sila, pwede hapon by total. Pero kung gusto yun sila ka nang ilag yung gi-analyze ang per inventory, then go. You could have item by item. Kung gusto mo naman, hindi masyadong hassle, pero hindi rin siya masyadong hindi naman siya ganun ka-slack, then pwede yung by category. So, the inventory is measured at LCNRV on an item by item. Ayan, ito yung sinabi ko kanina na difference na 150,000 na inventory write-down. 7,850, tapos 8 million ning naog. Sa by category naman, 8 million ang cost, ang LCNRV 7,960 ning naog og 40,000, right? By total, LCNRV 8 million, ang cost nimo 8 million, walang write-down. Okay? So, depende na sa company unsay ang gamiton. So, under the direct method, we have here debit inventory 7,850. Ang ginamit niya dito is ang item by item, ito. And then, credit income summary. So, mo niyang ginaingon nga, walang kemi-kemi, walang allowance, go. Cost of sale agad. And the cost of sale is an AKA expense. So, ayan. Debit 7,850 and then credit mo yung income summary. So, kung naka-credit si income, ayun. Now, the loss on inventory write-down is 150, is not accumulated separately. It will have an increase in your cost of goods sold. Allowance method, however, at cost on December 31, so we have 8 million, and then the cost of the loss on write-down is 150. Again, ang iyahang gibasihan diri ang kaning item by item. So first, i-record sa nato siya at cost kasi ito naman talaga usually yung ginagawa natin, right? At cost. And then saka natamag allowance. Diri, walay allowance, diretso sa LCNRV. Okay, mukaon na ko taod-taod, so I think ang food na to din is ready na. Okay. And then, the loss on inventory write-down is included in the computation of our cost of goods sold. So, ato ang cost of goods sold is hindi niya naman binigay kanina. Pero, kung may information about the cost of goods sold, then go ahead. I-add na to si loss on inventory write-down. Okay, for your exercise, para makakain naman ako. Sige. Eto, madali lang. Determine the inventory applying the LCN. Ay, dali lang nito. Gusto ko yung mahirap. Sige lang. It's nice to start with the simplest, right? So, mag-picture na sad ko. And my battery level is low. So, hindi naman ako magpa-flash. Ayan. Okay. Ganun pa rin ang mechanics natin. Ang first na maka-answer, 5310, 5215. Ay, may ganun ba? Inabutan mo pa ba yung mga ganong glamour? Grabe si Glamour, mas ate pa maguro na ako ni si Glamour. Wala na ako abutan na Glam. So, sabagay, wala akong cellphone na itong mga panahon na. So, ganun siguro. Okay, send ako sa Messenger, then you go ahead and scan. I will also share it in my screen. Okay, so ayan. Please check your Messenger. Andun po siya. And Share screen na lang po ko. Angeline left the group. Ayan. Okay. Maklaro na ba? Cancel your presentation. Ayan. There. Sige. The first student na makakuha ng tamang answer sa chat box, may points na naman. Determine the inventory value applying the LCNRV. Thank you, Father, for this food, and bless this food, Lord. Give us the nourishment that we need, Lord. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Thank you, kayo, Biha. Nagkaon na lang ang takag-una. Ay, alas 10 pa. Sabi ako nag-study. Sa next na mga chapter.
Okay. Last yun na.
Na. Tax. Ano yan? Gandam? Sa Gandam. Nag-chat ka sa kwa ganina. Sabi mo miss you. Ang bot. Nag-share manggugos akong screen. Tapos naklaro ay nakita ba? Sabi ko, share ko ng buong screen ko sa phone. Wala na akong tinatago. Pag napapitaw na ako, uy, ayun, may nakita. Siguro, unsa nag-react? Na sila i-answer, be. Dali lang. Ayan, Glamour lang malakas. Si Glamour na naman ang nauna. Ah, may nakakategory pa. Sige. May nakatatlong participation na si Glamour. So, ato na gini siyang i-ban. It's sad to say, pero this is going to be the last time. Charot, di naman, Glams. Pero bitaw, next time, pwede na hindi na mag-answer si Glamour. Okay? Pwede ka mag-answer on your own just to assess kung makuha ba ni mo og tama or dili. Pero okay na hindi mo na siya i-share sa class since naabot mo na yung limit na tatlong recitation for this term, for this specific activity, yung mga ganitong activity. So, let's just call this a drill. Kana ganing while naga-discuss ta, tapos maghatag kong kalit og problems, tapos i-answer na ako, then let's just call this a drill. So, for our drill, Glamour already has 3. Sayang points, maximum na yon. Gusto mo ba mag-grade na 110? 110 na grade? Di ko pirmahan na ni Ma'am Pido sa grade sheet, ha? So, tama na. Okay lang. It's not just about the points din naman, but it's about how you learn or what you learn. Okay? So, pwede gapon ka mag-answer kahit hindi mo na i-share. Kung nakuha mo naman ng tama, then that's a satisfaction on yourself na ay nasabtan di ay nako. Okay? But as for the graded one, okay na tayo doon, Glems, ha? So, ayan, we have Quico and Gilera next to that with that same answer. Sige, I will stop presenting na para akong mapakita sa Excel. Although, pwede naman na hindi natin ipakita sa Excel, no? Kasi ang easy. Ay. Sige. Stop sharing na sock. Okay. Ay, palihog na lang kong tanaw dito sa inyuhang. Hala, I left the meeting. Okay. Palihog na lang kong tanaw sa inyuhang copy nga nasa Messenger. Okay. Sige. So, we have here Horny Company. Pangit naman ang pangalan ng company to. So, we have the LCNRV, the cost and the estimated sales price and the cost of sale. And we are going to compute kung ano ang gagamitin natin using the LCNRV. Okay. Ay, may assignment pala tayo. 12-2. Asa naman to? Okay. Kanina lang. Ato saning i-delete, ha? So, we have items A, B, C, D, E, units, and then the cost. So, mag-start ta sa A, B, C, D, E, and then, wag ko na itong isali. Diretso na lang dayon ta sa atuang LCNRV. Ay, sorry. LCNRV for letter A or item A, you have 1,000 units. Times, how much is your cost? That's 120. And then you have your estimated selling price of 180, pero may cost of sale kang 30. So you have How much ang LCNRV? That's 180 minus 30, right? How do you compute for your, not LCNRV, your NRV, your net realizable value. So you have your estimated selling price less cost to sell and cost of disposal. But this time, wala naman siyang binigay na cost of disposal. Then let's have cost of sale. Anong cost of sell? Cost to sell. Ano ba naman to si Valix? Mali-mali grammar. Okay, so we have 180 minus 30, 150 NRV versus the cost of 120. Whichever is lower, then we will follow the 120 cost. And how much is that? That's 120,000, right? Let's have category B or item B. We have 1,500 units, the cost of 110, and our NRV is 140 minus 20. Basically, that's 120 versus 110 na cost. Whichever is lower, we'll go with the 110, and that would be 165. Dasi kasi Glamar, kaya pag yung gi-appeal ang per item ay per product. Daming time mag-type ni Glamar. Item C, we have 1,200 units, cost of 150 each, and our NRV is 170 minus 30, which is the lower amount. And we're going to have 140. 140 times 1, 2, and that would be 168,000. D, we have 18 units, 140 cost, and your NRV is 190 minus 30, that's a 160. We'll follow the 140 cost since it's the lower amount. And that would be 252. Lastly, item E, we have 17 units, 130 of cost, and 160 of NRV. Then we'll follow the 130 lower amount. We have 221,000. Ay, siya lang ang nakaano.
Ma'am, di good ka makitaan.
Ha? Dili di ay. Ayan. Grabe. Nakaano na ako. Sorry. Sige. Ayan, patapos na ako, dear. Abi guro ni mo ikaw lang wala nakakita. Sila, kamo di ay tanan. So, ayan. Ito po yun. Hindi ko naman na siya tinype lahat. Ay, anong di ba na siya? Okay. Di lagi siya, no? So, 120, 165. Ay. How about that one? Naka-share na ba akong screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, let's have the total. Ilagay itong answer ni Glamar. 926. Tama na naman si Glamar. Ayan. Ganon din naman yung iba. Ayan. We have Miss Quico, we have Miss Gilliera, and we also have Miss Alfanta, 926 din. So, ayan. Sayang. Ayan, Glamar, ha? Nakaban na daw ka, Glam. Tama na daw. Sige, tama yon. 926,000. So, hindi naman siya ganun kahirap kasi. Sige, let's proceed naman dun sa assignment nyo, which is 12-2, and sorry. Ay, may gani kay naka-off akong camera. May mga ganap kasi. Sorry po. Ayan. Punta tayo sa 12-2, yung assignment natin. We have here prime company, and we are required to determine the unit value for each product applying the LCNRV value in measuring inventory. Per product naman pala. So, ganun lang. We have here the cost, and then we have here the NRV. Sige. Yun pala ang kailangan nating i-compute si NRV. So, what do you think? We have here the cost to dispose or cost of disposal. Ganun din yun. And then we also have estimated selling price. Okay. And we also have our normal selling price. May normal, may hindi normal. Okay, let's have first your product number 1. We have unit cost of 700. Diri na to siya i-compare. Okay. Sige, ato na lang siyang lahion kay para colorful. Red. 700 versus our NRV. So, magkano po ba ang NRV natin? Is it 800 minus 150? Or is it 700 minus 150? Okay. Ang sabi naman ni selling price, ni NRV is estimated selling price less cost of disposal less cost to sell. Therefore, we are going to base our NRV sa estimated selling price, and that is 800 minus 150. That's 650. And then for product 2, we have 900 minus 205. Then we have 695. Wait. Ay, pareho naman pala silang. Bakit 205? Tama ba to? 950 minus 205. 745. So, dito ganina. 695. Bakit iba? Okay. We have 745, and then we have here 300 minus 50. That's a 250, right? And then, for product 4, we have 1,000 minus 260. I guess that is 740. Tama? Okay. So, kanilang duha atong i-compare. Our cost and our NRV. Again, asa gani nag-base atong NRV dire. Dili kay normal selling price ha, dire ta kay estimated selling price. So, whichever is lower, that would be our answer. 650 versus 700, 650. 475, 7, grabe, dako ang difference. Oh, kani 50 lang ang difference. Kani kay, alam mo, dagan og mga hapit 300 pod. Ay, say hapit. 300 jud pod. Hapit ra lagi. Sorry, nagbali-bali na ang numbers. So, dako kayo og write down. Ay, wala palang write down. Mark up di ay ni. Yan. Anong pinagsasabi mo, ma'am? Wala. Okay. 255 versus 250, whichever is lower. And then we have 450 versus 740. Then, of course, we have 450. Ayan. 650, 475, 250, 450. Therefore, ang masunod sa ato ang financial statements, NRV, cost, NRV, cost. So, yan. So, kung tanaw na to ang difference, na yung mga panahon nga kailangan na to mag-write down. Pariha ani, 700 ato ang capital or ang ato ang cost, pero mabaligya lang di ay siya 650. Therefore, na ay obsolescence, aka write down, nga 50, right? Kani wala tay problema for 75, pero mabaligya na to siya 745. So, wala tayong problema doon. Dito naman, 250, pero mabaligya lang din na to siya 255, mabaligya lang din 250. So, na ay 5 nga na loss. And then, 450, kaya na itong ibaligyag 700, no problem. Makaginan siya ra gihapon. So, ingana ang ato ang pag-compute sa cost or reportable cost sa ato ang inventory. So, that is our 12-2 assignment. And we also have here our 12-4. Okay? So, our the requirement is calculate the value of the inventory under the following approaches. So, we have LCNRV is applied to individual. Sige, first individual daw. So, but before that, asa man din nga ito i-compare? Ito. Right? And then, our NRV na hindi pa natin nako-compute. So, compute paghihapon nato si NRV. This is problem 12-4. So, ang ato ang NRV dinhi is a simple sales price Okay, that's 130 minus our selling cost of 15. Ay, gikalculate pa na ako. That's 115. So, butang na to diri NRV. Ayan. NRV is ito minus ito. Ayan. So, we have 115, 180, 180. Ay, sorry, 80. And then we have 40 and 60. And then, this figures ato ang i-compare sa ato ang cost. And then we will get LCNRV per item. So 105 versus 115, we have 105. 85 versus 80, we have 80. 50 and 40, 40. 65, 60, 60. So this is going to be our LCNRV using the item per item method. Okay. And then we have the units. Ang ihang ginapangutana is LCNRV is applied. Ay, okay. Multiply pa din nato siya sa units. I mean sa units. That is 105 per unit and then meron tayong 25 units. Ayan, 2625 for this item. And then we have that one. So in total, we have our LCNRV of 7625 using the item per item method. Next, we are going to compute LCNRV using the category method na pod. I mean, by category. So, ato saan ni siyang i-hide? Ay, siguro kasali din to, no? Hide natin yung tatlo. Sige, diri na pod ta. NRV per category. So, ito siyang tangag total dire. Ayan. We have here 185 total cost. Atong sales price is 130 plus 90. We have, ayun, bakit? 130 plus 90. We have 220. And then our selling cost is 25. Therefore, for category A, we have NRV of 220 minus 25. That's 195. Next. Ay, sorry. Hindi pala pwedeng ganyan. Sabon ako, ha? Ayan. Per category, kailangan na to siya i-multiply daan. So, for category, we have a total cost of 25 times 105. Ayan, total cost. And then for category B, we have 20,000 times 85. That's 17. So we have 4325. And our NRV, on the other hand, is 25,000 times, pila gito itong NRV diri? 115, right? So that's 115. And the next, we have 20,000 and our NRV is 80 pesos. That's 190 minus 10. Therefore, we have NRV of 4475 in total. And ingon pa, whichever is lower, therefore, ang atuang sundon is by category, kaning 2625, right? And 17 versus 16, kaning 16. Ayan, 2625 and 16. Next, we have category 2, ganun pa rin. 40,000 times 15 a cost. We have 30,000 tag 65. And in total, we have 3,950. Also, we have our NRV of 40,000 times 40 na NRV and 30,000 times 60 nga NRV. Ayan. Per category. Then let's choose the lower amount, 2 million versus 1.6. We have 1.6. Ay, sorry. I am using the individual approach naman. Di gihapon niya akong gigamit. Uy. It's okay. Ani, ang kaning approach is still individual. I would want to make it clear. Ako lang siyang kay kaganina giuna nato og compute ang per cost, ay unit cost. So gi-isa-isa unit cost lang sa nato. That's 130 minus 15 kaya siya naging 115. Then versus nato din hiya sa cost, whichever is lower, ito. Tas ato siyang gi-multiply sa 25 kaya siya naging 2625. And if you could notice, diri sa ato ang bag-ong analysis karon, ing ato gihapon 262516. Kaya lang nag-focus ko sa in total, okay? Sa total na per letter. Letter A, category A, letter A, category 1, letter B. So, nag-total, dito na ko sa total nag-focus. Pero, again, this is LCNRV applied in individual inventory category. So, ayun. Ang per category di ay, nato na ning i-close, hide, is kanina. Kasi per category na di ay. So, ito. Ganon pa rin naman. Kaso, dili na ta diri sa per item, magtanaw. Hindi na siya ito versus ito. Kundi, diri na ta sa total sa kada category. So, 4,325 versus 4,475. Asa ang lower? Ito po yun. And then, 3,950 versus 400. Ito po yung lower. Therefore, using the LCNRV and applied to inventory category, that is a total of 4,325 plus 34, a total of 7,725 na LCNRV using the category approach. Now, the last one is LCNRV using the LCNRV applied to the inventory as a whole. So, i-add lang na to tanan. Ana lang. Ay. So, ako lang ning i-copy usa dire. Ayan. Ay. Kana na lang. Ato na lang kwaon ang red. As a whole man daw. So, kanina tanan. So, we have 4,325 plus 3,950 total cost. 4,475 plus 3,4 total cost. And then, kanina dayon ato ang i-compare. 8,275 versus 7,875. Edi 7,875. So, that is LCNRV applied in the inventory as a whole. Our answer is 7,875. So, balikan nato. Using the individual inventory item, we have here the 1,6, the 2,625, the 1,6, 1,618, kaya naging 7,625. And then, using the category, we have this one, 4,325, tapos itong 3,4, which is 7,725 in total. And lastly, using the total approach or the whole approach, ito na lahat, i-add mo lahat, then we have 8,275 versus 7,875, so 7,875. So again, it is a discretion of the company if asang iyahang gamiton, asa ang mas reasonable na groupings or asa mas reasonable i-apply si LCNRV. And then lastly, we have na pa ba? Ay, wala na lang. Ay, muna na itong last nga assignment. Yun na ba yun? Ga-share screen ka, ma'am? Wala ba? Opo, nag-share screen po ako. Sige, wala na po ba tayong assignment? Ano sa ako kanangutana, ma'am? Sa note ko kasi may isang item pa, pero bakit dito wala na? So ako ang Excel. So tingnan muna natin. Anyway, kung na may mga questions, then go ahead, raise it now. Before pa ta mo leave diri ang topic. Ayan, walang question. Ay, sorry. Sige. So I think that's it. White company. White company na yung last. Ay, okay. So dara gyud ay nag-end ang atoang kaligayahan. Okay. So yun lang. That's it for our LCNRV. So today we talked about our cost flow, the FIFO, the weighted, and we also talked about the LCNRV.